Last month, The Word Publishers branched out of its normal publications by releasing Zechariah, a prophetic graphic novel by the artist Zechariah, or Zach, as he's known in the art community. However, Zach's claim to fame isn't limited to his art. He's also the grandson of Iddo, the nationally renowned leader of the exilic pilgrims. Today, Zach joins us on BC Bestsellers to discuss his book. We're really happy to have you, Zach.
I'm happy to be here.
I have to say, your book is just filled with page after page of beautiful images. I couldn't help but get swept up into the drama of it. But, in all honesty, a lot of the story was hard to follow. What story are you trying to tell?
Well, I'm just telling another chapter in the story of our nation. It's really my generation's story, though, or at least part of the story.
What do you mean?
Well, a few of us were actually in the exile, but all the stories we've grown up hearing are from before the exile. I think that's had a subtle impact on my generation. We're all wondering, is the story over? Well, it's not. My story picks up where the pre-exilic prophets left off.
Where exactly is that? And how does that play out in your book?
Well, we just got back from Persia, whipped with our tails between our legs, while our captors, or former captors, are sitting pretty.
Oh, and that's what the whole opening chapters are showing with the horses running around?
Yeah. But then move into the next section of the story, when God sets the captors straight and sets the captives free.
What do you mean? The exilic community has been free, so to speak, for at least 2 generations.
Well, politically we're free, but not spiritually. God's going to free us in that way, too. Remember the section about the high priest and some new clothes and the little lady being flown away?
Yeah, that part was a little confusing.
Well, it's portraying how God's going to cleanse us of our sin. And then the whole golden lampstand section shows that he's not going to let us neglect the temple forever. It's going to get rebuilt.
So what's with the sections about horns and craftsmen and chariots?
Oh, well, that's the other part of my generation's story. God's going to judge our captors. But my book doesn't just tell my generation's story. It also tells the story of future generations.
What story is that?
Well, eventually this nation will be led by the ultimate priest and the ultimate high king.
And they'll reign perfectly and supremely forever, right?
Well, that's where things get a little fuzzy. You'll notice that the images are a little less crisp in that section of the book. The thing is, the ruler will be defeated. Not totally, of course. Ultimately, he wins, but for a while, he'll be defeated. It's hard to understand and it's hard to portray.
I guess that's the curse of every artist. No one understands their message.
Yeah, could be. It's also the curse of apocalyptic prophets.